Hey guys, Brian from JB Custom Woodworking here. Today I wanted to take a quick look at a small project that I was thinking of adding to my repertoire of cutting boards and butcher blocks. And this is what I've come up with. So this is a magnetic knife block. Now, because I build so many butcher blocks and cutting boards, a friend of mine had suggested that anybody who buys one probably has a set of good knives and they're looking for a place to put one. So they thought I should give this a try, and I thought, well, let's give it a try and see what happens. So the first one that I built is this one here, and this one is a piece of cherry that's about 1.75 inches thick, and it's about 18 inches long and 3 inches wide. And I just routed a couple of keyhole slots on the back to hang it on the wall. And if you look on the end, you'll see a couple of little pieces of end grain. And what those are is caps that cap off the dados. So there's two dados that run all the way through this board. And I got some 2-inch magnets off Amazon. They're about 2 inches by a 1/2 inch, and they're sitting in a row. So there's 6 along the bottom, and there's 2 up at the top. And the idea was that they came in a package of 8, and I thought that making the board, 24 inches long was going to be a little excessive. So I thought I would double them up. And the idea was that I could hang larger knives on the left-hand side and hang smaller knives on the right-hand side. Now let's just give you a look at how that works. So these knives here are a really good set that I have, but they're fairly heavy. So they come in around 200 grams each. So when you put them on the board, they hang nicely as long as they are on the side that has the 2 magnets. But if you put them on the other side, there just isn't enough strength in the magnets to carry them. And this actually is the scariest part of this, because sometimes even the small knives fall off. And what happens is if this is mounted securely on the wall and you put the knife there and the knife starts to slip, your automatic reaction is to reach out and grab the knife. But the problem is the knife is moving when you're grabbing for it. And the last thing you want to do is grab one of these things by the blade. So this has kind of become a concern for me, and I don't really like this style. The good news is that the magnets are hidden. It gives a nice clean look, and it looks like a nice little piece of wood, and hanging on your kitchen wall above your cherry countertops, this would be a nice thing. But I think in order to make it work, I'm going to have to either find stronger magnets, or I'm going to have to run a double strip down both sides. But the other problem is that there's always a little bit of a gap between the magnets, so there's always going to be a better place and a worse place to hang the knife from. So I thought with my second try, I would go with this. Now this is a totally different style. This is what they call a bar magnet. So this is about 16 inches long and about 1.5 inches high and about a 1/2 inch deep. And the whole thing is recessed into a piece of 8-quarter cherry. And then I put a little strip of maple in here just to give it some style. So this one, it's really obvious where the magnet is. And it'll hold as many knives as you can comfortably fit on this thing, and spatulas and other things, and it doesn't appear to be a problem with the security of the devices. But the other nice thing is that you can put as many knives as you want on this, and you can put them anywhere that you like. So that kind of comes in handy as well. Now, the one thing that I do worry about with this one is that this bar magnet, because the knives are actually riding on it and across it, I think very quickly you're going to start to see scratches on this, because this is very thin piece of metal that covers up the actual magnet. So no matter how hard you try to be good to this thing, I think eventually it's going to show scratches, and it's not going to be a very satisfactory product long term. The other thing I sort of didn't like about this was you have no control over how heavy the customer's knives are. So it kind of became a liability issue as well. And the third point was the cost of the materials. So the little bar magnets that I put into the first one here, a set of 8 off Amazon cost me about $33. And there's about $10, $15 worth of cherry in here. This one here, the bar magnet cost me about $40, and there's about $20 worth of lumber in this one. So I'm not sure that this makes him economically viable, because that's going to put your cost, even without labor, up and around the $50 mark. And if you're trying to compete with the stuff that's on Amazon right now for $75 or $80, it's just not worth it. I could spend a little more time with this, buy a few more sets of magnets until I finally found a good one, and keep trying about it. But I'd have to be convinced that I was going to be able to sell this thing constantly throughout the year at the farmers markets and on my website. And I'm still a little worried about the liability of somebody grabbing the knife blade. So I'm not sure what to think of these things. So if you have some comments or if you have some thoughts for me, put them down in the comment section below. And if you get a chance, hit the like button and the subscribe button. And between all of us, we'll get a little bit smarter. Thanks for watching.